Hello and welcome to Asia Now. My name is Alex, and in this video I'll tell you about an American ex-military offender denied entry in the Philippines. Chinese embassy activates emergency mechanism after 79 Chinese were arrested. Remains of a World War II hero returned to California. Cebu approves Habal Habal motorcycle taxi office. And a look at what the Philippines athletes will wear at the Olympics. Starting off with our exchange rate. Right now, 1 USD equals to 58.26 pesos. If you're new to the channel or haven't had a chance to subscribe, take a quick second, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free, but really motivates me to make these videos. Here's our main story. Starting off with a former personnel of the US Air Force who was convicted offender has been prevented from entering the Clark International Airport. The BI said that the American identified as Rusty Conlin, 33, arrived in Clark from Taiwan. Conlin was denied entry after an immigration officer saw that he had positive hits in the agency's derogatory alert system. It was later discovered that the former Air Force personnel was registered offender due to his conviction for, offenses he committed while he's still in the service. In 2022, Conlin court-martialed and found guilty of 2 counts of possessing minor content. I guess he's one of those guys, leading to a discharge from the military. Not a good sign, not a good look, but this is just one dude. Let's not go ahead and generalize everybody. If you want to keep coming to the Philippines, don't do stuff like that or you'll be barred. I got myself this noise thing. Let's see how this turns out. Next up, more Chinese national in the news. China activates emergency mechanism after the arrest of 79 workers in Bulacan. The Chinese embassy in Manila immediately activated its emergency mechanism after at least 79 Chinese nationals were arrested by the BI during a raid in a factory in Bulacan on Thursday. In a statement on Friday morning, the Chinese embassy said Ambassador Huang Xiaolian and the other embassy leaders reached out to the Philippines officials to safeguard the safety of its rights of the Chinese nationals. I quote, "The embassy urged the Philippines to handle the case in accordance with the law and fully protect the legitimate rights and interests of Chinese nationals," end quote. The statement read according to the English translation posted by the Global Times, the English language newspaper of the Chinese Community Party. The Chinese embassy has yet to post an English translation in a statement. On Thursday, the NBI arrested at least 79 Chinese nationals, around 36 of them who were reportedly undocumented, while 23 only had tourist visas, according to the Philippine Star reports. The Chinese workers were employed by Shanji Hydraulic Engineering Construction Company, which supplies water pipes. NBI director said, "The employment practices of the company indicate prejudice against Filipinos and question the need to employ foreigners." Company CEO Zheng Hongtao said they also employ Filipino staff and were already processing the missing documents for the Chinese nationals. Philippine law requires foreigners. The arrest comes after the Department of Foreign Affairs tightened its rule on issuance visas, tourist visas to Chinese. I find it kind of funny, ironic, and not to joke about the matter, but here's China talking about ensuring the safeguard, safety, and talking about basically following the law and all this stuff while they're here in the South China Sea or West Philippine Sea. I don't know, whichever you want to call it, or both. I don't know technical names for them, but yeah, kind of find it ironic. Also, if you're going to go ahead and send a message to the Philippines peoples, why is it in Mandarin or Cantonese or Chinese or whatever you want to say? It's kind of should be English, right? Or just am I missing something here in the translation? Regardless, of course, people coming here illegally, it's not a good thing ever in any country. Those that want to work have to go through like a whole bunch of processes. They got to be vetted. There's proper ways. So I hope that this company actually does have proper legitimate documentation for them. Although 23 of them are on tourist visas. And you cannot work on a tourist visa regardless of which country you're coming in from. And right now, given what's going on between China and the Philippines, tensions being very high, unfortunately for these workers, it's not looking really good. So let's see what happened with the story. And next up, babies for sale on Facebook. Yeah, babies for sale. Law enforcement authorities have apprehended a woman who attempted to sell a 6-day-old infant through Facebook, the Department of Justice said on Thursday. The woman was arrested during an NBI investigation during an entrapment operation in Muntinlupa City on Tuesday. She was set to sell the infant for the price of 25,000 pesos. That's just under $500. The NBI's trafficking division received information concerning the woman from its cyber tip monitoring center, indicating that she was allegedly involved in selling babies on Facebook. Following the lead, the NBI division conducted open source intelligence gathering and verification of the suspect illegal activities. The NBI undercover agent posted as a buyer and communicated with the woman who claimed to be the midwife and offered to sell the 6-day-old baby. The agent and the woman arranged to meet in Muntinlupa from the transaction, according to the DOJ. At the designated meeting place, the woman introduced herself and presented the baby in exchange for the money. Upon confirmation of her intent, the agents moved in and arrested her. her. The infant was rescued and placed with the custody of the DSWD. Whoa, this is not the first time, the last time probably either. This is like a problem here in the Philippines. This is many stories I read about people selling babies online. I understand, desperate time, desperate measures. I've never had a kid. I don't have babies. I don't know. It's really difficult to try to understand this kind of situation. Of course, don't do it. I don't agree with it. That's besides the point. But yeah, kind of a sad story for just 25,000 pesos to sell a baby online. So I'm glad that the department of the NBI did its part and captured this woman. Plowing through some more criminals, the Visayas' sixth most wanted man has been arrested. Construction worker who has an arrest warrant for taking the life of another person in Barangay Liloan, Cebu Wednesday afternoon was apprehended. The suspect, who was reportedly the sixth most wanted person in the police regional office east of Visayas, was identified as Brian John Dublin Daculo, 29 years old, resident of Talisay City. He was placed under the custody of the Liloan. Kind of like a civil way of arresting somebody, I guess, but I guess there's nothing civil about taking someone else's life. Next up, the remains of a World War II POW who died in the Philippines returned home to California. Ontario, California, the long-identified remains of a World War II service member who died in Japanese prisoner of war camp in the Philippines in 1942 were returned home in California on Tuesday, 16th. The remains of U.S. Army Air Force Private First Class Charles R. Powers, 18, of Riverside, were flown to Ontario International Airport, east of L.A., for burial at the Riverside National Cemetery. The Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency announced in June that the Powers was accounted for on May 26th, after analysis of his remains, including the use of DNA. Powers was a member of the 28th Material Squadron 20th Air Base Group when Japanese forces invaded the Philippines in late 1941, leading to surrender of the U.S. Filipino forces on the Bataan Peninsula. Powers was reported captured in the Bataan surrenders and was among the subjected to the 65-mile Bataan Death March and then held with Cabanatuan prison camp where more than 25,000 POWs lost their lives, the agency said. Quite the story. Imagine, yeah, I can't even imagine, right? All these years later, you identify someone you lost in the war, but luckily the remains are sent back home for proper burial. Anybody that serves their country deserves an award, I think. Next up, self-rated poverty among Filipino families is now at 58%, the highest since Arroyo's term. Around 16 million of Filipino families see themselves as poor, according to a survey from the Social Weather Station. As of June, self-rated poverty among Filipino families has reached 58%. Wow, so 58% of the ones interviewed or surveyed consider themselves poor. Speaking of surveys, Philippines ranked 59 out of 60 countries in work-life balance. I can't remember the source, but that's something I saw quickly. I don't know how much weight you guys want to put on these surveys, but kind of an interesting fact. Moving on to the Olympics. Next up, a look at what the Philippines contingents will be wearing. Barong Tagalog, especially designed by Francis Libaran, which he coined as the Sinag Barong. Sinag means the rays of the sun and symbol of hope and optimism, meant to reflect the Filipino spirit. Kind of a cool look, so yeah, not bad at all. Next up is some very quick but very important tech news. A global IT outage caused havoc and chaos throughout the world. Major US airlines ordered ground stops on Friday, citing communication issues, while other carriers, media companies, banks, and telecom firms around the world also reported system outages were disrupted their operations. Also in the Philippines, at least 2 banks have announced issues with their online banking systems, namely Metrobank and RCBC. And not just these countries, it's globally. So whatever happened, they're saying it's not a cyber attack, but stuff like this always makes me question how much we rely on technology. I mean, for myself, I make a living through technology. I'm on it 24/7. I'm sure many of you guys, because you're watching this, use your phones, your tablets, your internet, your banking, you're living across the world. What happens when this gets shut down, right? That's kind of a scary thing. Think about it. If you can't access your money, if you can't get somewhere, it's kind of a scary thought. So I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. What do you guys think happened here? I don't know if there's any tech guys out there or know more about it. This was just released at the time of filming this, so I'm sure it's going to be updates on this. Next up, a ground staff member from Cathay Pacific Airlines, Hong Kong base, was caught on video throwing passengers' luggage repeatedly down the stairs in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The airlines has issued an apology letter expressing regret for the inconvenience caused to affected passengers. The staff in the video clip has not been suspended. Suspended? They should get fired. Here's the thing, man. It's not every day everybody gets a chance to travel. You know, just because some of us are fortunate can leave. Sometimes it's the first time people go somewhere. Sometimes they have extremely valuable things in their luggage. They have the trust of the people handling their bag. They're not going to be doing stuff like this. I'm going to try to find a video for this if I can, but it's absolutely unacceptable. I think they should not just be suspended, but completely terminated, because it loses the trust of the people, and staff working at the airline. It's already bad enough, stressful enough just getting through the airport, and now you got to worry about somebody dashing your luggage down the staircase somewhere because they had a bad day. Next up, some news about Habal Habal. If you don't know, in Southeast Asia, it's basically motorcycle taxis, and you see them on the street. Sometimes they're wearing orange vests, sometimes they're on application, you can order them, and sometimes it's a regular dude that wants to make some extra cash on his motorcycle, comes along, picks you up, hands you a helmet if you're lucky, and takes you where you want to go for agreed upon price. And hopefully now Cebu wants to go ahead and kind of organize this. Here's the news. An office for drivers and passenger motorcycle taxis of Habal Habal will be created soon in Cebu City. It was approved by the City Council on Wednesday, July 17th. The new office will be called the Motorcycle for Hire Riders and Motorcycle Riders Coordinating and Welfare Office. One of the main objectives of the office is to implement policies and initiatives to protect Habal Habal drivers and passengers. So I guess the point of this is to basically organize the whole system, because right now it's basically a free-for-all. As I mentioned, in the Philippines, you can just make some money by riding around and asking people if they need rides, and they want to go ahead and centralize this basically. But there's already like apps for this, right? There's Ancast, Maxim, Grab, Move It. Like, that's just the ones that I could think of, Joyride, on the top of my head. So what is the need for this? If it's to basically go ahead and organize the freelancers, why would they need you, basically? It doesn't make any sense to me. I think it's even illegal right now. Let me know in the comment section if you know more about that. Is it even legal for those random dudes on motorcycles that are not registered by anybody or anywhere, just driving around handing out helmets to drive people? Because I've seen them in front of police, in front of authority, and they don't seem to care, and they usually go between like call centers and malls and just anywhere else on the street. I've taken them several times. So yeah, I'd love to know some more information from you guys, if it's actually even legal to be doing that stuff. And now it's time for a segment, Yesterday Today, where I read the most popular comments from our previous video. Let's take a look at what Semiramis had to say. He says, I spent a month in Makati, Manila last year, walked a lot alone late in the evening and never once felt in danger. Felt safer there than I do walking in downtown Vancouver after dark. Hell, even during the day in Vancouver. Yeah, I mean, but then again, let's be honest, Makati, BGC, IT Park, Ayala Mall, these places are very like touristy, centralized, some upper scale environments, so you can't really judge a whole. Manila's a big city, you can't really judge everything based on that. But personally, I've had nothing but good experiences either, so I keep seeing people sharing their positive experiences, and this is in response to Manila ranking the 5th most riskiest city across the world, apparently, according to Forbes, from 60 countries or 60 cities they did the survey on. So, which I said I don't really believe it, because yeah, it's kind of weird. Anyways, moving on to our next comment. Grace Andy says, hey, I'm a UK man and I wandered into 10 of Manila's docks and later was told it's the most dangerous area. I was also wearing a nice watch and carrying a GoPro and was absolutely fine. We got tricycled to various parts of the dock and then stood outside later waiting for a Grab taxi. No crime, no danger, no threats. A few funny looks as I'm a foreigner, and you're probably just because you're carrying around a GoPro, people want to know. Filipinos, they see a camera, they love to interact, engage. I know because I do it so often. So yeah, so another person sharing their experiences when it comes to safety in Manila. And that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, found it informative, drop me a like, hit that subscribe button, maybe even share this video if you think somebody else will enjoy it. I'll see you guys in a couple days. It's the weekend, so I hope you guys have a great weekend too. I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye. Anyways, yeah, let's go on to our next story. If you're lucky, you'll get a helmet, and then you just zoop on.